Breaking news! The Miami Dolphins are racing against time to try to close some deals that are interesting for the team. A lot is happening behind the scenes, and I will bring you the information little by little. We know that during this period there is a lot of speculation, and I want to be sure of the facts, so that I can then report it on our channel. Before I tell you the latest news, make sure you have already pressed the like button if you believe it is time to let Terron Armstead go. If you believe he should stay, press the dislike button. In any case, I would like you to write your opinion in the comments. Let's go! Could the Miami Dolphins be about to make a game-changing trade? According to some reports, a blockbuster deal between the Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs involving offensive lineman Terron Armstead and Joe Thuney has been considered as a possibility. And let me tell you, Dolphins fans, this is the kind of trade that could reshape Miami's offensive line in a big way. The proposed deal is a straight one-for-one swap. The Dolphins send left tackle Terron Armstead to Kansas City and in return receive veteran left guard Joe Thuney. No draft picks, no additional players, just a pure swap of two high-level offensive linemen. At first glance, this might seem like a fair trade, but when you dig deeper into Miami's roster construction and long-term needs, this could be the perfect move at the perfect time. First, let's talk about what Joe Thuney brings to the table. Since joining the Chiefs from the New England Patriots, Thuney has been one of the most dominant interior linemen in football. He's one of the top 3 left guards in the league, a proven winner, and an incredibly disciplined player who rarely commits penalties. He's versatile enough to switch to left tackle when needed, as he did during Kansas City's recent Super Bowl run, but his real strength is on the interior, where Miami desperately needs an upgrade. Think about it, since head coach Mike McDaniel took over, the Dolphins have struggled to solidify their interior offensive line. Yes, they've had standout performances here and there, and Aaron Brewer has been a solid anchor at center, but the guard positions have been a glaring weakness. Fixing that issue with a player of Thuney's caliber could be the missing piece in building a dominant offensive line. Now, what about Terron Armstead? Look, there's no denying his talent. When healthy, he's been one of the best left tackles in the league. But that's the key issue, his health. Armstead has battled injuries for much of his career, and while he played at an elite level last season, the reality is that availability is just as important as ability. Miami needs stability at left tackle, and that's where Patrick Paul comes in. The Dolphins drafted Paul in the second round of the 2024 NFL Draft with the expectation that he could be their future at left tackle. Sitting him for another year doesn't make much sense when you consider the financial and developmental aspects of his rookie contract. If Miami believes in his potential, they need to get him on the field sooner rather than later. Trading Armstead would clear the way for Paul to take over, while also bolstering the interior line with Thuney. From a contract perspective, this trade is about as even as it gets. Both players are 33 years old, both have cap hits in the $22 to $24 million range for 2025, and both still have some solid years left in the tank. If anything, this deal might make even more sense for Miami than it does for Kansas City. But why would the Chiefs consider this trade? Simple, they have a massive hole at left tackle. Protecting Patrick Mahomes has been a challenge, and while they've managed to win despite some shaky offensive line play, it's been clear that they need a reliable blindside protector. Armstead, when healthy, could be that guy. Meanwhile, they have to make a tough financial decision regarding right guard Trey Smith, who is due for a massive contract extension. If they're forced to let Smith walk, keeping Thuney at left guard makes sense, but if they prioritize Smith and need to free up cap space, moving Thuney for Armstead could be an option. Now, is this trade likely to happen? Probably not. NFL trades, especially player-for-player swaps, are rare, and both teams would have to be fully committed to making this deal work. But if the opportunity presents itself, Chris Grier and the Dolphins front office should jump on it. This move would immediately turn Miami's biggest offensive weakness into a strength. With a line featuring Patrick Paul at left tackle, Joe Thuney at left guard, Aaron Brewer at center, and Austin Jackson at right tackle, the Dolphins would only need to fill the right guard spot to have one of the most complete offensive lines in the league. They could address that position through free agency or the draft, setting up their offense for long-term success. And let's not forget what this would mean for quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. With a stronger interior line, Miami could improve its run game and give Tua better protection, especially against interior pass rushers who have given him trouble in the past. We've seen what he can do when he has time in the pocket. Just imagine what he could accomplish with an elite offensive line in front of him. So, Dolphins fans, now it's your turn. Would you make this trade? Do you think swapping Armstead for Thuney is the right move, or should Miami stick with what they have? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss whether this potential blockbuster deal is a dream scenario or just another offseason rumor. Now, let's dive deeper into what this trade could mean for the Miami Dolphins beyond just the X's and O's. Because while the immediate impact on the offensive line is clear, the ripple effects could reshape the franchise's future in multiple ways. First and foremost, there's the financial aspect. Both Armstead and Thuney carry similar cap hits in 2025, somewhere between $22 to $24 million, but there's a key difference. Thuney's contract is set to expire after the 2026 season, while Armstead's deal has more flexibility for restructuring or potential savings down the line. If Miami pulls the trigger on this deal, they'd be committing significant money to their interior offensive line while freeing up their long-term options at left tackle. But here's where it gets really interesting. If Miami makes this move, they could be setting themselves up for a major free agency push in 2026. By locking in Thuney at left guard, Brewer at center, and Jackson at right tackle, they'd have a near-complete unit in place. That means they could focus their financial resources on securing a premier right guard and reinforcing other positions of need, rather than scrambling to fix multiple holes at once. And let's not forget the hidden benefit of this trade, Tua Tagovailoa's development. Dolphins fans have seen firsthand how much better Tua performs when he's operating behind a clean pocket. Over the past couple of seasons, when given time to throw, he's been among the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. But when pressure collapses the interior of the line, his decision-making and accuracy take a hit. With Joe Thuney in place, that interior pressure would be significantly reduced, allowing Tua to play with more confidence and precision. There are two ways to look at this. On one hand, if Paul develops into even an above-average left tackle, this trade becomes an absolute win for Miami. They get a dominant interior lineman in Thuney while grooming a young, cost-controlled left tackle who could anchor the position for years to come. But on the other hand, if Paul struggles and isn't ready for the challenge, Miami could find themselves scrambling to protect Tua's blind side, a risk that shouldn't be taken lightly. That's why, if this trade were to happen, Miami might still need to explore veteran insurance options at left tackle. Bringing in a reliable swing tackle or an experienced backup could provide some much-needed security in case Paul isn't ready to handle the starting job full-time. The Dolphins could also use a mid-to-late round draft pick on another developmental tackle, further solidifying their depth at the position. But make no mistake, if this trade goes through, Miami's offensive line would take a major step forward. Just imagine heading into the 2025 season with a projected offensive line of left tackle, Patrick Paul left guard, Joe Thuney center, Aaron Brewer right guard, draft pick or veteran signing. Right tackle, Austin Jackson. That lineup could go from being one of Miami's biggest weaknesses to one of its greatest strengths. And in a division that features elite defensive fronts like the New York Jets and Buffalo Bills, having a strong offensive line is non-negotiable. So, where does this leave us? Right now, this is just speculation, a hypothetical trade floated by Bleacher Report that hasn't gained significant traction in league circles. But if there's one thing we've learned about the modern NFL, it's that blockbuster trades can come out of nowhere. If Chris Greer and the Dolphins front office see this as an opportunity to upgrade the roster, don't be surprised if they at least explore the possibility. But what do you think, Dolphins fans? Would you trade Terron Armstead for Joe Thuney? Do you trust Patrick Paul to take over at left tackle? Or would you rather stick with the current lineup and look for other ways to improve the offensive line? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest Miami Dolphins news and rumors. If this trade happens, you'll hear about it here first. Stay tuned, and fins up!